If you Google it, you're getting all old stuff. You're not getting the recent stuff. That's why I was kind of wondering
No, I've
what was
got-
going on.
I've got the 9/11 and the 10/9 meetings right on there, just from Googling it. So I Googled Brighton Elementary School
Yeah,
board meetings.
yeah.
And
But
then my
but
top hit
it's nothing recent.
is the NCSU. And they have that, and they have newest to old, like oldest to
Yeah, but
newest.
so what's the newest
So
one?
10/9/2024.
That's not good enough. We're in December. We're in December. They're not showing the recent meetings. That's my complaint.
So you'll have to go to the school board
I
on
guess
that.
I gotta have to. Because they should be
Last
posting,
time I looked, it was right
they
there.
should be posting their recent meetings and they're not. I went on, I found the same thing and they're not posting their recent meetings. So you can't keep updated on what's going on.
So somewhere I saw they
You
had
should go after him, Mark.
Oh, I will.
Oh, right. No, there's the PDF of it, not the video.
I don't think they post the videos of their meetings. I think they only post the audio.
They don't have video. They only have audio.
They have video.
Oh, yeah, they got video on all the old ones,
That's audio. Oh,
but nothing recent.
Yeah, but I think I heard something. They're not recording the video on their current ones. It's only audio.
So why did that change?
I don't know.
They don't
Maybe
have to
something
do
broke.
video?
I have no idea.
Even we don't.
If that's what's required, it's required that it has to be audio. It does not
We could get away with
require
audio.
video. It does require audio, but it does require it has to be posted within a couple days after the
That is
the
correct.
meeting, and it has to be up for 30 days minimum.
Anywho, it is.
But that's school board. That's not us. We do
It is
our job.
5:31, and I'm gonna bring the hammer down and call the meeting to order and ask, are there any updates to the agenda?
Mike.
No,
Um,
nothing that's not already on the agenda.
Can we have iPad 3 and guests identify themselves for the minutes?
What?
Just tell us
What's
who you
that?
are.
For the attendance portion of the minutes? Okay, you can go ahead and, somebody can go ahead and mute them then. For minutes purposes, they have to be identified. And your name?
This is William.
Does William have a
Sorry.
last name?
Linkovich, Linkovich.
And you are,
Mandy. Violet.
repeat,
Violet. VIOLETTE.
did you get those? Okay, public comment. Anyone here for public comment?
I'm kind of listening in before I
Oh,
speak on anything.
okay. I just didn't know if you were here for a specific.
Just new to town and I'd like to know how things are running, where my money's going, and I think our water bill's pretty high to start with, I guess, if I can throw that out there. I was kind of waiting to hear some more of the meeting of just how it goes in general before I say anything, but I think our water bill's pretty high.
Okay. So the wastewater treatment facility update. That's Joel,
we-
correct? No,
Well, no, it's both of us.
Go ahead, Mike.
So we did sign the ESA to rebid the wastewater treatment project. That adds an additional $26,000 to our engineering costs, naturally. We did get a credit back from them on our current billing that just came in for about $3,000 because they overbilled us last month, and they're gonna have to eat that. So, we were supposed to feel sorry for them that they had to eat $3,000. So feel sorry for them.
the first bid came in, how many million over?
2 million over. We're hoping that rebidding it, when we met with Jonathan Harries from USDA and the engineers last week, and what he's looking for is, $1.5 million shaved off of that cost. He said if we're not going to shave that much, then the rebid was a waste of time and money.
So how did they come up with this $26,000 in rebidding this and engineering fees?
It's just the cost of.
Well, I'd
That's
like
the
to know how
cost
they
of
come up.
redoing all the documents and the website, because it's all electronic now. I mean,
It's the
Yeah, but I
same.
mean, doesn't electronic mean that everything's easier? It's just boilerplate again?
well, it's
I mean,
a
a lot
fee
of-
that I
you
think
gotta
they
like
have to
my-
pay a fee for it.
A lot of it's boilerplate.
Yeah, but I don't think I think that's actually a service they have to pay for. The bid, that bid portal, that's a world, that's a countrywide service that they all use where, all the things. So I think they have to pay every time they put a project out to bid, they have to pay for that. I'm sure there's a hefty markup on it. And then what did we figure out, Joel? They charged us 7,000 to try and find savings.
Yeah, big
Yeah,
deal.
that's part of the 26, 18,000 is what they charged us the last time for just the part about the bidding where they put the bid documents together, they put it out to bid, they notice, they look at the bids, they review the bids, they make a recommendation. That's all that's going to be repeated for the same price. The rest of the money is for their time looking for savings. So one of the things I said to them is I
So
hope
did
if
they find,
if we spend
did they find any savings
$7,000
in
looking for
engineering?
savings, that you're going to find more than $7,000 worth of savings. So
Yeah, well, did they find any savings? For that
yeah, they've
$7,000?
got a list.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so is that?
They have a
so is that-
list. Some of the
so
big
in this
ones where
big-
they were cutting back on some of the paving around the area there. It's something we could do later. It's
Yeah.
not mandatory that has to be done.
So
They're
this
leaving
bid-
some of the
this bid
piping in the
document-
ground.
The bid document that's going out for bid, does that include the stuff that they're reducing
Yes.
on the bid document in order for this
It's listed
$7,000
as
savings?
bid alternates. So
It-
it
they
is.
have these are all options for the contractor at that.
And it's
So, and they had
also
a whole
intended to get us
list
one
of
point
those.
5 million in savings from the original bid.
That's what they're hoping. I did reach out to NBRC. I have not heard back from them yet to see if they would consider us
Yes, sir.
for another $1 million grant next year that would help cover some of the overage on this. But other than that, we don't really have much in the way of good news.
Yeah, no, it doesn't sound good. So, okay, so in this, in line with, we're talking just sewer department now. This proposed budget that, Mike, that you came up with on the sewer department. And looking at these figures here, what kind of percentage rate increases are we looking at?
You want to wait to get to that?
Why don't we do the budget report? Because
Okay.
we'll do that in the budget report. Because we need to go through both of those budgets so that
Yeah,
you guys can say yay or nay on them when we can make any adjustments, because it kind of affects the town budget as well. So we kind of want to present that tomorrow night to the select board that, this is kind of where we are with the water and sewer budgets, and here's how it's going to affect the town budget. So
In
we'll deal with
relation
that under
to-
budget.
now that's in relation to water and sewer that we give the town.
It's actually in relation to the staffing, the time that you guys are paying for, because you're paying the town back for the amount of time that Joel and I work on your projects. Because
Okay, so
the water
that's-
and sewer
that-
department doesn't
that-
actually have staff.
Okay, so that's included in these budgets?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
Is that all on the WWTF?
WWTF, that'll do it.
So now we can go on to WTF?
WTF.
Yeah, it's fun time. So the water treatment project updates.
So we did apply for the grant for the reservoir repair that we need to make. And just for you guys, if you haven't followed any of the other meetings, We have a leak in our reservoir, 30,000 gallons a day.
Yeah.
And we have to fix it.
So,
Pleasant,
And it's not cheap.
Pleasant Street.
yes, yeah, the south reservoir. We have two reservoirs. One of them has a leak.
Okay.
And so, where we part of the big project was to line that reservoir. Anyway, we're just going to have to do that before that big project comes around because
Yeah.
we can't wait. I mean, that leak is getting worse as the time goes by.
Definitely.
I
So
still don't
there
know
were-
where 30,000 gallons a day goes and you can't see it anywhere. Like, where is it going?
We don't have that answer.
I know, like, it doesn't make
They,
sense.
they GPSed it and everything else. They
That's
don't,
a lot of water.
they don't have an answer either.
It's gotta be somewhere.
I have no doubt.
One of these days we're gonna say, oh, we need to dig a well, and well, there's gonna be all kinds of treated water waiting for us.
We can only hope.
Now, on our quarterly billing, Mike, that we do on water, does it actually show in that quarter billing that we're losing 30 gallons, 1,000 gallons a day?
We don't
What we're billing?
I mean, their meters are showing them. I mean, the thing is, we don't pay. We're not paying for 30,000 gallons of water as
No,
on
but
a
I'm just
metered
saying,
amount.
we charge out for so many gallons that's being used by the public. Does that monthly?
That is-
or
yes, that's what
quarterly,
they-
is it actually showing that we do have a leak?
It doesn't show in the finances because it's just a big lump sum. I mean,
No, I'm
you're
talking
paying
about
H2O.
water going through the plant versus
Right,
water that's being billed out.
Yes, they have calibrated meters. They have checked everything, and yes, there's 30,000 gallons more than what.
Okay, so that's a
usage
for
is in
sure
town.
thing now. That's a for sure
Yeah.
thing.
I say, because the meters that they're measuring that are what they treated versus what is measured in the,
Going in.
yeah. In
Right.
versus out on the reservoir versus.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, we've been after them for that forever to make sure that this is a real leak, and they're positive it's a real leak.
Because we had the same question. Okay, we're leaking. So where?
And where does it go?
Downhill.
So we've applied for that thing for the repair.
Yes.
We did reply, so that was $190,000. It's $190,000 for the liner to go into that reservoir, and we did apply for the grant from the Vermont Bond Bank, and there is no match on that grant. So if we get it, it will cover the cost of that completely. So, and we should know that sometime, I think mid-January is the turnaround time on that. It was pretty quick.
What's the backup plan if we don't get it?
Well, we're just gonna have to pay for it. We'll have to borrow the money and do it because we got to get it fixed. We do have some money in the reservoir maintenance account, but not enough. Not
I
200,000.
didn't think we had enough in there.
And then I did copy you guys. Michael Maynor from Aldrich and Elliott did send us an email about that. The state has approved us refurbishing the two water treatment plants, and they're offering, their financing, which is 0% over 30 years with 50% subsidy. I have a question on that because, we get the same subsidy on the wastewater treatment side, but there was a cap, which we hit. It's 750,000 is the maximum subsidy we could get. Well, 50% of $8 million, which is what's proposed for that water treatment upgrade, is $4 million. Is there a cap that's going to limit us to $1 million as opposed to, $4 million? So I did ask that today because that's a concern of mine. He says, USDA is going to want us to do some more research on the well idea before they're going to agree that they're going to fund that. And Joel did send out a letter to the stores asking if, they have any interest. I don't think we've gotten anything back yet, though, have we, Joel?
Unless nobody's told me. I had it come to the town offices, so.
But Mike, I see all this stuff that you talked about today on your email, and I still don't see anything about we're being bad people because we're still going to use our brooks. I don't see them saying anything about the brooks.
Well, that's what he says, that's coming, that's 10 years from now. 10 years from now,
Yeah,
we're gonna
yeah,
have
but-
to deal with that.
But show
What-
me the
what it's gonna
legislation.
affect?
Where's the legislation that backs that?
That's already passed.
It is
it's
passed.
but
State
that
or
passed a
federal?
couple years state, and that passed a
State.
few years ago. And it is up to the state to determine when they're going to limit us, if they're going to limit us. That's a state decision, and they don't have any timeline when they have to give it to us.
So how the hell can we come up with budgets when we don't even know what the hell's going on?
Well, that's just it. We have, the funders are the ones who are going to control this, because they're not going to agree to fund something that isn't going to survive for 30 years. So that is why we're where we are, having to jump through hoops, because they're the ones saying we won't approve your project because we're not certain that it's going to be there in 30 years.
Been here for
Also,
100,
they-
but I guess it's not gonna make
Well,
another 30.
not the way that it's
Laws
that they're-
change and they impact us.
right.
Doesn't mean it's
You're
right.
going to have to make a change, and you aren't going to be able to afford it. And so that's why we're going through all these hoops with the state right now, is we have to, prove to them that there are no other alternatives.
How long do the
This will
stores
be-
have before we have to get a response? Before we'll be able to,
Well, there is
Proceed.
no,
there's no hard deadline, right?
Would you do me a favor, Heather? Is the mailbox still behind you? I didn't check the mailbox. I think probably we ought to see if a letter came in in response. I didn't check that the
I'm on
other
the
day.
wrong side. I'm on the wrong side of the room.
I mean,
I was gone to
Oh.
look for it.
It's too bad, Mike and Joel, that we've got a system that mostly everybody in the state would die to have this redundant system that we have in water and how we get our water, and the water clarity awards that we've won over the past 100 years. And it's like it means nothing now. All this stuff that we've had over the years has gone flushed down the toilet because they want us to change. And
you got to
have a
save the
hard,
fishing.
I'm having a hard time with this. I really am. There's no common sense here.
You're preaching to the choir, Mark.
Yeah,
I know.
believe me, we've made the same argument, strongly made the same argument. They just want us to look, this is also their preferred alternative with the wells, also the cheapest alternatives. And that's,
And that's a lie,
also-
Joel, because you and I
That's-
both know that not only our carbon footprint is gonna go up 300 to 500%, and the state is adamant about carbon footprint, and the fact that our cost to do what they want to do is gonna go up because we gotta get a dump truck to get sludge out removal. We have to get a guy with a CDL license to drive that truck. We got costs of getting rid of that sludge at who knows where, even if Coventry will take that sludge. I mean, we're looking at a lot of added costs that they're not even considering in the operation of what we have now and what they're forcing us to do later. I mean, there's a lot
Why-
of stuff
why-
here.
That's why that's why we keep pushing, Mark.
I know.
I don't have an
I'd like
easy
to be
answer for
involved
you.
with these state meetings and talk to these state people, because a lot of common sense here is being removed. It's not even being considered. And the poor townspeople here are gonna pay rates that are gonna be astronomical down the road, and I feel bad. I mean, I feel bad of what's coming.
Let's just hope that we do get approval or variant. I guess is variance the right word? Variance isn't the right word.
No.
It's not even, no,
get
it's, if they're,
Grandfather
yeah.
can prove we're not
I mean,
taking all the stream water.
We're gonna, I wrote Michael Maynard today because, I do want them to, find answers to those questions for us, because we do need to move on the water project. We're
yeah.
on borrowed time with those
Place
plans.
is falling apart.
So just for you guys who are sitting here for the first time, our water treatment plants are 35 years old?
Over 45 years
They're
old.
older than me,
Yeah,
And
and we
they
haven't
are-
upgraded them
Yeah.
or maintained them properly.
it's like East Haven as well.
And as a result, we're behind the 8 ball, behind the
we are.
curveball. And our water source that we've been using, which is a really good solid source, legislation changed. And it's forcing us to go to a very much less than desirable location on land that we do not own, that would render that person's property much less usable. So our desire is obviously to stay with our current source, but
You got to jump through the hoops.
Yeah.
you got to go through a
I mean,
process. and-
we have a redundant system that a lot of people in this state wish they had,
Mhm.
because if one plant goes down, we have another one that can keep up.
Yep.
And it's really sad that what they're trying to do to us. I just have a hard time with all of this and what the state is trying to do. And I think that maybe after the first of the year, after we have some new people in government in Washington DC, that we should write a letter down there too and tell them what's going on here, and can they help us? Can someone come from Washington, come up here, and that's what they're there for. They're there for the public and they're there for the common good. And can you come up here and see what we're facing here and give us some recommendations of what the government can do for us? Because this
I nominate you to write that letter, Mark.
I would be more than happy to the state governor and Washington.
Okay.
And I think Bernie would be another one to write a letter to, because he's kind of on our side when it comes to government overreach. And I think that would be a good letter to write to him too, to see if he can help us in this situation.
And
I can't hear you, Joel.
I think we need to sit tight for just a little while and see what we get back from the stores. If the stores respond to us and say, we're not interested at all, then I think our only option is to do the project we want to do.
I put that to Michael Maynard today, okay, if they say no, which I'm expecting they will, then what?
I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm not
You
going to
know?
sell you my land that I've purchased and I'm using for my purposes so that you can build a dang well. That's just if
And
it were
even
my
if-
land.
And even if they say that, yeah, we'd be interested, our next thing is, well, we need to drill a test well. So that's another step. And if the test well doesn't turn out, then again, we're, back to our,
And
What
who's
do I do?
paying for the test well?
Oh, we have to.
okay, well.
We will be.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. It's just taking money and putting it in the toilet and flushing it. And I don't like that.
So
Welcome to the real world.
We don't either.
anything else logistics wise on the water treatment facility before we move to payment plans?
I don't. There's some stuff in the budget that we need to go over, but it's in the budget. So
So next up are acceptable payment plans. If anybody's looked at the numbers, I'm
Yeah,
not going
I
to throw
did.
out names. We definitely have some past dues and we're going to be dealing with that. And payment plans, from my understanding, have been entered into before, but not necessarily followed. And we need to ensure that we have an agreement on an acceptable payment plan.
right. I
Both
mean, and
to
what
stay
the board
current.
what the board needs to come up with is what is acceptable to the board, because Teresa and Lisa are going to get all the calls.
Right.
I want to make a payment plan. So, okay, so what is their guidance? What can they accept? Is it
So-
12 payments to pay off the back balance? Is it, what is it? Are you going to do it based on ranges? Because there's some big bills.
And say, to me, the first and foremost is you have to be paying enough each month to stay current, number one.
That was mine.
So there's your first step.
My concern.
Then I would look at what our total amounts due are and break it into buckets. I would love to see everybody caught up within 12 months. For some of these, that may not be feasible.
That ain't gonna.
Some of them, we are going to have to say, you have 24 months. But to me, 12 months, you should be able to be caught up. Some of the really, really big numbers, and again, I'm not going to say numbers and I'm not going to say names. Some of those might need 24 months, but I think we need to look at those maybe in outliers of, you do owe us an extreme amount. But at minimum, and especially if somebody is behind and they're continually going on over the allotted amount, whatever their current monthly is, they have to stay current on. And then add to 10% of your back pay, 8% of your back pay, I think gets you paid off in 12 months.
I don't think so. I
So
don't think 8% is anywhere near the amount. I mean, if you got somebody that's gotta make $100 a month payments and they still gotta make their payments of current usage.
8% of their total will pay them off in 12 months. 10% would pay it off in 10 months. Like if you took your back due and you divided by 10 and you paid that every month, in 10 months, you would be back due paid up. That's what I mean. So if
But
you
they-
owe us,
So if they owe us $1,000, they owe us roughly $80 a month. And-
plus current,
Plus their current.
yes.
Well, I'd like to see that that's gonna happen. I don't see that happening. I don't think that's gonna be enough. If you're gonna add a payment per month plus what they owe, then you better add what they owe every quarter coming up on that payment in order for them to get current.
I think you and I are saying the same thing.
Yes.
You stay current. So if you're a water and sewer person, current rate would be $108 a month
So,
to stay
so
current.
what do we do when they don't make 2 payments, 3 payments? Do we
Shut
shut
'em
their
off.
water, do we shut their water off?
Shut them off. You're entering into a contract with us and we need to have a contract. And if you are not complying with your end of the contract, then
Well, we already have something on the books now that tells them when they're gonna get turned off.
that's what we go
But
by.
we-
And if
I can tell you, Mark, the water and sewer board has not been consistent with this.
I
They
know.
have
We
not
need to.
I
sent
know
out.
that because we try to be a nice guy and it doesn't work. Nice guys finish last.
there's a few options too, you can always go. I would not want to go tax sale route, but you could always try to sell to a debt collector as well.
Yeah, and then they're gonna
Where-
take a percentage of that, so that,
But losing a
still in the
percentage,
hole.
losing a percentage is better than losing all of it. It is better to receive 85% of it than to receive none.
there's gonna be big charges for somebody else to collect the money. Tell you that right now. I've been
I
that
don't
route
think
when I
that,
was in
I don't think
business.
you're gonna go that route with I don't think you're
No.
gonna go that route at all.
That,
but,
that doesn't work.
I mean, I think the first way is to say, stay current and pay 10% of your past due each month.
Well, what I'm gonna say is so what do you think is a
But that's
maximum
kind
payment
of,
somebody
Mike,
can
that's
make?
kind of hard to do right now because we don't have monthly billing yet.
You can
Correct.
still make a
But-
monthly payment.
So that's kind of difficult for the people to get on board with that. We don't have our monthly billing set up yet.
Well,
Well,
I
well-
talked to Noah about that earlier today, and I would like that to be in place by March.
Well, I hope so.
And the thing is, I think we need to go to estimated billings and they get trued up every quarter so that everybody gets a bill monthly, because you can see what I was trying to tell them a year and a half ago when the rates had to go up so much without notice, our delinquencies went through the roof. I mean, we're 3 times what we normally are for delinquencies. This is huge.
And
And-
I absolutely agree that you give estimated, final. Estimated, final.
And Mike, that doesn't include our new proposed budgets coming up every year. Water's going
right.
up. And that doesn't
Everything.
include,
Well, the thing is, everything should have gone up all those years, Mark.
That's
the
correct.
problem
Oh,
with
no,
the water and
I
sewer board
know
did.
that.
They didn't.
And everybody on the board knows that we've been very lenient and now it's come back to bite us. But, you know, I mean, with this proposed budget does not even include the refurbishing of the 2 plants.
Yes, it does. Yes,
It does?
Yes.
It does.
Where does it say that?
Wait, there's a loan payment that starts getting paid back,
Let's-
and
Let's get
yes,
to that.
we'll
When we
get
get
that
to
in the
that,
budget.
we're on payment plans.
yes.
Um,
So
So
what I'm
I-
saying is you need to set what is like a maximum monthly payment you're comfortable making somebody pay, because you've got bills out there that are $3, $4, $5,000 for
Oh,
one
yeah.
account. You're not going to get 10% of that a month. You're not going to get 8% of that month. And I think
250 a
those
month, max?
particular, I think those bigger bills should probably come. I mean, the way that it usually was in the past was those bigger bills got referred to the board, and the board sat and haggled out a payment plan with the people. But we have a lot of ones that are under 1,000. So, do we set 1,000 as, Teresa and them can negotiate the payment plan for up to $1,000? Divide it out by the number of months, tell them they have to stay current. Here's your contract, sign and go. To me,
So
that
if
seems
you're-
like about as
I-
much as you're going
yeah.
to want to be able to force people to do without sitting down with you and coming out with.
I think for the majority of the payers that owe us money, that's gonna work out fine.
So
But then the other ones, maybe they need maybe to come up to the board and negotiate a payment plan. We don't have that many that we could sit down with them here at a meeting and talk.
if
Right.
you have
I
a
mean, there is-
thousand,
Oh, go ahead.
if you have $1,000 that you owe us that is past due, and you were to have that aimed to be paid off in 6 months, your past due payment would be $166 a month. If you took
The
that
thing
and
is,
added
you're gonna-
108, that would be a $274, which is too much.
Right.
So you're gonna have to
I'm
give
thinking
them,
12 months. I'm thinking $1,000 over 12 months.
Yeah,
Right.
I agree.
So
and
I,
that would be $192 a month payment.
Which is a lot, but
Mhm.
and I guess if it's somebody who really can't make it, they will have to be referred to the board to sit down and say, okay, how are we going to get this solved?
And our job is to double check that we are getting the payments each month for everybody.
may I also recommend something? I know this new system, it's been a bear, but one feature, again, that we really like that goes with this is when we're deciding these contracts, another thing we can do is
We have-
require an
We have
ACH
reference.
well, a reference, but require, hey, okay, if you're not paying us on time, we want a direct deposit ACH payment. That if you want to contract with us, you're going to work with us. We're going to make sure we get our money. Happy to work with you, happy to negotiate if you really have a problem. But this is going to make sure we get our money.
Are the ACHs ACH debit or
So
credit?
what you're saying, Noel, is this to take an average of what they're gonna pay for the year upcoming and include that in their monthly payment to make sure that they stay current and that they're paying off their debt.
Yes,
I
Correct.
agree.
and it'd
I
be
agree.
required.
Yeah, it's required.
Because,
I'll find out if it's debit or credit.
because one, the consumer has to push the payment out, and one, we just go in and pull it.
I have to call them tomorrow anyway.
For
And what
people get into
happens-
that much debt, can you shut water off to like someone's house if they're $5,000?
We're
Like,
just,
should you start cutting it off at the $1,000 and say, if you haven't paid here, your water's getting cut
so
off?
I'm really,
I feel like
really
that's
new
what-
to this board.
We have shut off people.
And
They just weren't consistent.
Okay,
it's been lots of changes in the board over the last couple of years. And lots of inconsistencies, and we're hoping to address that and move forward
okay.
and not allow, address the issues before they come.
That's kind
to
of just
this
where I'm
level.
getting at $1,000 if people aren't,
Yeah,
it's time to cut you off. And if you can't,
There will the first delinquent notices that we're going to send out, which are going to be their disconnect notices. What Joel pointed out, there is in statute in Vermont how we have to do this. There is no late notice in Vermont. There is a disconnect notice that must
Yep.
go out within 40 days and has to be on pink paper and has to have all this language on it. And so the first one we're going to do manually because we need to clean up what's on the books.
Yep.
And yeah, there's probably going to be quite a few that are, they're not going to make a payment arrangement. They're not going to do it until we show up at their door and shut the water off.
Yep.
But
And there will be plenty of people who will say that there's an option for a medical excuse in the law too, that if they have somebody that needs special, needs
yeah.
water to care
People will
for their
find a
health,
way.
I've got
so
a-
you'll
I've
get
got a
plenty,
mental
you'll
problem.
get plenty of those, I guarantee you.
Mhm.
Oh, I
There'll be a
know
lot
we
of
will
people
too.
claiming that.
Now, we're paying this company to do our billings and everything.
yes.
Are they going, once we set up a system here, are they going to automatically take this over and make
Yes.
sure that things are going the way we said? And then if people aren't meeting their monthly payments, then we get a notice here at the board.
So yes and no. So you are going to have that information available to you through that system. There will be some decisions that the board is going to have to make, such as interest, right? You know, what are we going to charge for that? We have 1%, you know, that's the information I'm going to present to you guys, probably in email, and say, hey, here's who I've got for delinquencies. Here's the interest that's going to be charged to them. Accept or not accept before we push to the bill. So that's going to be the new process that we
Yeah.
follow every single time, especially after
Every single time.
every single time, especially since we've had billing issues. We want to make sure that
That's why we got this new system.
That's right.
To be able to do this.
Yes. Yep. So that'll be the adjustments every time you guys are going to get that report.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. So all we have to determine tonight is if it's going to be 10% on $1,000 or less, divided by 12 months is what they're gonna pay, and plus their current usage. So, and that has to be included in the payment every month. So we have to take their estimated thing for the year and say, this is what you gotta pay a month for your current and your back, what you owe us. And after 12 months, after that was 12 months, you'll be current and you'll be back to your regular usage every month. Am I right,
Yes.
Mike?
Yep. Yes. Yes. I just wanted to have that, you know, the board
Yeah,
needed to
I
decide
make a
that. And
motion
actually, we
that-
should make a motion that
I make a
We should
motion,
have a
that's how
motion
we
on the
handle
record.
this. Anything over $1,000, we should send a letter and have them come over here and talk to us how they're gonna make their payments. But $1,000 or less, this is how the system's gonna work. And I make a motion of what I've just discussed to move forward. So that the girls know what they gotta do.
And that is divided by
12
1,000,
months.
their debt divided by 12 plus
Plus
current
their current
is the
every month.
monthly payment.
That is correct.
Correct.
Just clarifying.
Okay.
It's kind of just.
Based on last year's usage.
You
So if
can,
last
but I
year
don't
they
understand
paid
them.
so
it'll
much
just
for
be
the
the
year.
quarterly,
I'll
Bill Mark, it'll just
clarify.
be your quarterly rate.
So
It'll be
I'm
the
just,
That's
quarterly
right.
rate.
That's right.
I'm just gonna clarify this. This is current, so your current is whatever you currently are paying. If you're water and sewer, it's 108. If you're water, I don't know what that number is because I'm not just a water person. Plus your past due divided by 12 is your minimum monthly payment.
And if
Okay,
they
so
want to
no
make
percentage.
more, that's fine. If they want to pay more on their monthly thing, that's fine.
Does that
Hey.
cover interest?
What is it? What are we allowed to do? 1%?
Per month.
If they make an effort to pay this, I don't think the interest means crap to me.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
give
kind of
them a
agree with
break,
that.
give them a break on that. As long as they're making an effort to pay the every month, I don't care about a monthly charge of
they are-
interest.
Timely on their payments, waive the interest. If
That is
they
correct.
miss one payment, they gain interest.
That's fine. We could put that.
Yeah, I think you should have interest in there
Right from the get-go.
from the get-go, but.
I mean, because we are,
1% doesn't amount to crap for the whole year. I mean,
we're paying, we had to pay this stuff,
I know.
right?
I know people are having a hard time though right now, and I think we should say, look, you know, we know everybody's having a hard time, and we're gonna waive the 1% interest, but if you miss a payment, you will be charged the interest. And I think that's being,
And there's nothing to say you can't do that right now to try and clean up what you've got. And then, you know, once it gets cleaned up, then you can, you know, change the policy at that point that, you know, okay, going forward, you get behind, there is an interest charge.
yeah,
but
I'm just trying to be fair.
right now, it's as much the town's, you know, it's the water department's problem as much as it is the delinquent users, because we haven't sent disconnect notices. We didn't turn them off before they got to a $3,000 bill, and we should have.
I mean,
And-
I have some empathy. Some people are having a hard time. So I'm willing to just waive the interest right now. But if they fall behind, then they will be charged the interest.
So is that gonna complicate the software though? I mean, so they make their payments and there's no interest and then they they miss a month, and so now you gotta calculate interest on what
Now we
exactly?
just check off the box
Now,
that
now
says
they do
calculate
that,
interest.
then they keep up for a while, then they fall behind.
No, once they violate, and
Yeah,
then
once they violate, they're done.
So you go into their account and check off the box that says
So from then
compound
on,
interest at blank rate.
so from then on, it's interest,
It's
no
interest
matter,
until
even
you're
if they
paid
keep,
off.
Interest.
even
there's
if they
no-
keep up from then on, it's still
No,
interest.
they've lost our confidence and that's it.
It's your encouragement to, once you enter into your payment plan, to stay current.
They get one shot at it.
Yeah,
Um,
one shot.
the other thing right now on those bills is it does show you that paid by the 15th, this is your bill. After, you'll see that 1% there. Are we okay with that?
Yep.
staying?
Absolutely.
Okay, I just want
For
to
the
make sure.
most part,
Makes
people
it
are,
easy. Makes it
so
easy.
my question, no, it doesn't make it easy actually, because when they come in after that and they pay the original, are we going after them for the remaining interest? Or are we waiving it? And who's doing that accounting? As someone who has
I know
to,
it
as
doesn't
someone who
make it
has to
easy.
write off 2 cents
Yeah,
once a month, I need to know what our process is and who's doing it.
Well, they're only gonna be required to pay the interest on the one they missed.
No, it's on your standard bill.
yes.
On your standard bill, it comes in and it says pay by this date, or your new charge is this amount.
Per month.
No, your current bill. I'm not behind on my bill. My current, do you have a copy of the?
Brent, let me pull one up.
See, I don't have mine with me. It says if you don't pay by this date, your new amount due is this amount. So in an accounting
Which
software,
includes the interest. I
Which
But isn't
understand.
that a late
interest.
fee? That's not interest, is it? Isn't that a late
Yes,
fee
it
on
is.
there?
It's a late fee, but it's at 1%.
so it's
Right,
1%
but that's
compounding.
the late fee is 1% charge.
Correct.
Right. So we're gonna leave a 1% late fee on there, but who's writing that off? The people that are coming in late and not paying that. So we're
It just
balancing. our
stays on their
books.
bill. That people pay that. They pay it on the next
Okay.
bill.
Okay.
When I was going through the bills,
it
I
was
could
just dealing with
verify
big
that. It
corporations.
just shows that they
don't
still
pay
had
a
a
penny.
balance of $3 or whatever.
Okay.
Which is why we do need to look at the delinquents before we send out, disconnect notices, because really if it's the, whatever that late fee is, $3 on a quarter.
Yep.
Are you going to waste 73 cents on a stamp to send them a delinquent notice for $3?
No,
I bet there's a way to limit the system to it has to be over $10, or there has to be some.
You can set thresholds. Yeah.
I figured that there had to be, so that you're not sending out, or if somebody wrote the check wrong and they shorted it by a quarter. I mean, I think we've all gotten bills where you get the bill and it's 25 cents and it cost them 50 cents to mail the stupid thing.
Right. Right.
okay.
No, I think we got pretty well settled now. on
I
that.
will write up a little contract thing. It probably won't be until after the first of the year, because we're not going to send these out until then.
No.
That
We
will,
make a motion?
we'll have this language
No,
in
I
it.
make-
But we have not yet voted. We've made the motion. We've amended the motion with the information about the
Yeah.
interest. So you have that we're doing past due divided by 12.
Yep.
Plus current.
Yep.
As a minimum payment, if you owe less than $1,000 or less.
Yep.
If you owe more than $1,000, you're going to come to us and chit chat in a executive session. And that we are charging a 1% interest on past dues if the payment agreement is
It's
violated.
violated. Yeah, no, I.
So all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, no nays.
Okay, we'll get that all settled.
So
I'll
Bill,
write up the little payment agreement contract, and it'll have just blanks for Teresa, and then they'll be able to write dollar amounts in. But I'll send you guys the form to approve.
Yep,
You
yep,
can
yep.
just
So-
You're pretty
email it.
quiet about all this, Joel. Do you have any input here, or you're just sitting there awful quiet?
I'm just sitting here being impressed with how well you guys are conducting a meeting and all those great comments. So I got nothing to add.
Okay,
I'm like, there's a way to make it work where they have like some sort of payment coupon for their payment agreements? I always find having a piece of paper that I can put on my refrigerator that says, go make your payment bill, helpful for me. I'm still one that pays the bank to give me a payment coupon book for my truck payment.
I guess my other
Um,
question is can our system be set up to send them a monthly reminder via email? Because we could ask for I'll put asking for their email on the contract that it reminds them
Yes.
your payment, your payment arrangement payment is due by such and such date.
And if it wasn't received in 2 days after, send them one that says your payment was received, make it within 2 days.
Does everyone still get a paper bill in the mail or
yeah.
some of it email and some of it's?
There's like
Some of us
four
signed
people who
up,
do
not
that.
a
Couldn't you
lot.
get, could we just put a stamp or could you guys put a stamp right on the envelope that says water bill due? And that's giving everyone a second kind of just like,
We don't mail
No.
them anymore.
okay,
That's where we're saving the money because
Okay.
it's 75 cents for us to do it per stamp.
Oh, yeah.
Plus our time.
okay, that makes sense.
Where if they do, it's half the cost.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Otherwise, not a bad idea.
All right, just an extra little, ooh, it's due then.
I'll tell you that having this new billing system that we're getting implemented here, Mike, is gonna, down the road is going to be the best thing we've ever done.
It's got some growing
Doesn't-
pains though.
If it doesn't kill us first.
Speaking of which, billing status updates.
Yeah.
Ah,
Love talking
The
about
revised bills went out.
this.
There were the
the
corrected
ones
bills.
that are a result of the error the last time.
Yes, those all went out.
Both credits and
That's what, that took care of all the mistakes that we made, on,
In
implementing the new
September,
system.
yeah, the September bills that were wrong, they were all
Yeah.
fixed.
have we had any feedback? Because I haven't heard anything.
No, I haven't heard anything.
Yeah.
I had, the only feedback I got so far was, yeah, I wondered what was going on with that. I'm not surprised.
A
Thanks. for
lot, a
catching
lot
me.
of people did say something like that, that
Yes.
they knew that we had made a mistake, but they didn't say nothing.
That's right. We have gotten some of that in the office. Some of the new meters, I'm working with Zach and myself, we're in constant contact with Muni Billing about why some of the new meters are not pulling over, the water and the sewer. I have a feeling it's because we haven't reran a new bill report, but I'll find out tomorrow.
And I'd like to add something here. You said meters. Where are we at now with the deal that we had with our current management company and getting all the new meters and start installing and replacing all the meters in town?
Can we put that under other business and finish the bill status first?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot going on with the current bills that we all
Yeah.
need to know about.
SLI update. Okay,
Yeah, yes, that's what it is.
gotcha.
So the last run of the bills that I saw, the test run. There was still errors on it. It was better than the last one, but it was still errors.
No, it wasn't.
And okay, it was
It was just
different errors.
Different accounts
Different
with
account.
errors, but still errors.
But the now making sure that I'm understanding correctly, because everything showed current meter readings are all identical.
Yep.
That was just because we didn't actually upload the read data, right?
Correct.
Okay, so that will change.
Yes.
And we were able to fix or not able to fix the issues of the debt service ones, where we were only getting debt service only, but they're turned off.
We had
Well-
corrected that. Go ahead.
Just say, we corrected the ones that were wrong the last time and got a
Good.
whole new batch of ones this time because
Yeah.
all the new meters, for some reason, weren't in the system.
Are you kidding?
No,
So
Now,
the
whose
school
fault
all
is
of a
that?
sudden showed up only, the school went from, a $4,000 water bill to $600 because all they paid was debt service. So,
Now, is some of that mistakes from implementing the old system and that adding it to the new?
you've got a combination of
Partially.
things.
yeah, there's a lot that I don't think the data file that was transferred over was necessarily correct when it went into Muni billing.
Right.
And so it's slowly all the errors are showing up.
And there's no way to validate the data before we upload it.
That's what we're
It's on a-
doing.
It's on a CSV or a Excel sheet.
Well, CSV, Excel, and I can get it to you in PDF.
The thing is, that was all imported
Excel.
long ago.
Don't give me a
It's done.
PDF, please. I'm not gonna play with a PDF editor to do this.
I know.
Excel, and I'll take a look at it as need be.
But that's the conversation I'm having with them tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay,
Is that a conference call?
That is just a general standard call. There's no scheduled meeting. They just know I'm calling them tomorrow.
so
If
there
we can
will,
make them scheduled meetings and you want to send an invite over to me for
Yeah,
future,
I wouldn't mind
most of the
that.
time I should be able to jump in. It really all depends on what I've got going on.
Would you guys prefer standing meetings with them? At least let's say bi-weekly for now until this is resolved, and then monthly moving forward with muni billing. Would that be acceptable?
2 meetings a month, you mean?
Yeah, and anybody from the board can join if they can.
So what are their estimates on and cleaning up all this mess here? I mean, what are they saying?
They're talking us through some of the solutions, not all of them. They haven't been as responsive as anticipated.
Well, they're not meeting their obligation, what they told us from the beginning, get-go, when he was here talking to us. They're not meeting their obligation, so.
Yep.
So I'm kind of, I would like to attend a meeting and tell them that,
Until it's resolved, we need to be meeting with them bi-weekly.
yeah. It should be put on notice here that they're not coming forth.
They have
They
been.
promised us.
Oh, they have been. We've had some phone calls.
Dare I say, go weekly and hound them. I mean, obviously.
That wouldn't be a bad
For right
idea.
now, and this is, I would take the next 2 weeks off, but I would start
In
the week of
January.
January 6th.
got it.
I would actually schedule something weekly.
Yep.
What's their availability?
Can I say something, Noel?
Sure.
After the holidays, in the middle of January, how about the guy coming here and standing in front of us here and answering our questions?
Do that, but you will pay an implementation fee. It's going to be about anywhere from $1,500 to $3,000.
I would
You're
start
kidding.
with, no, I would start with doing this weekly call with an action tracker and all that stuff. And
As far as I'm concerned, they're starting to breach their contract. That's what I'm
I
getting
want a
at.
copy of their contract, please.
They're starting to breach their contract and what they said they were going to do for us.
I wasn't here when they put that contract in.
Made a lot of promises that so far they're not keeping.
So what else is going on with the billing?
Really, that's
it.
about it. I mean,
I mean-
if we get, so my workflow right now is if we can get this resolved, we rerun the billing. And if I find out tomorrow that, hey, that pulls in the new meters and we've got all the meter data, then my next step is I'm going to send you guys those bills in Excel. And for some of you, if you prefer PDF, you'll get both.
Yep.
And then review it, get back to me, let me know. And if you're good with it, I will push the bills to send. But not until I hear from
I want
each one of
perfect.
you.
But do we have meter data uploaded to be able to push
Yes.
bills to send?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Now, regarding some of the bills, have we made progress with the water department regarding those ones that we had questioned as to the level of service they were receiving?
We're gonna get the bills straight this time and then run that report. It's the, it's like an MDM.
No, there were a
report.
few I sent you,
No,
Noah, there. What
like-
he's asking about are like, there's a couple,
The
everything
fleet
around
one in
them
the
is
middle
changed
that-
for sewer.
Sorry.
And one property doesn't have sewer and everything around it does. Is that correct? That's
Yeah.
something that H2O was supposed to be checking. I sent you that list of ones that I just want verification on.
Yeah,
Because
I want verification
just
on
because the
those.
system is set that, they don't have sewer, doesn't mean that there wasn't an error put in the system 20 years ago and we've just carried it forward all these years.
And
If
I'm
somebody
very
doesn't
concerned-
go look,
I'm very concerned about the ones that are flat rates.
Yeah, when I was in there with Muni Billing, we noticed that and they said, do you have any flat rates? And I said, no. And they're like, well, here's some flat rates that were carried over. And I'm like, yeah, no, we shouldn't have that. So we'll be looking at that.
And making sure the departments are billed correctly for the number of units.
Right.
And Zach should be able to verify those.
Him and Andrew go through each one.
Yeah,
Even now.
yeah,
even
but
with
if
the
they
new
need to
system.
go to the property and look.
yeah.
Right, right.
I'm sorry, but this is not a look on paper. I can look in the system and it tells me what it says. I need a
Doesn't
foot
mean
on the
it's true.
ground that's gonna go look.
Yeah, I need them to go verify that that structure, when it comes out, you show me your septic tank. You don't have a septic tank, then you're obviously going down the sewer pipe.
Is there meters on every single building?
There should be.
Supposed to
Practically,
be.
we have some, we,
This
Supposed to
gets
be.
into a couple of my questions, if you guys don't mind, I'm new to town, I don't, things are different in every town for water situations. So our building, so we get charged for 4 units for our building, which is on 69 Cross Street, the old Kingdom Grill. I'm
don't
just
think
trying to
they're
go about,
4.
that's flat rated.
They're
Can I
not
say
4.
something? You're being charged for 3. I looked into it. You're being
Yeah.
charged for one unit for the 2 apartments upstairs. And you're being charged 2 units for the business
No,
downstairs.
Mark, it's not that way. It's 1 unit for the restaurant and 1 for each apartment. Actually, that building only had 2 before. Because those were seasonal rentals. They weren't rented as apartments.
And they're being
Hold
charged
on,
for
I
3
can look.
units, not 4. I know.
As of the town this week, that's not how it was. They told me it was still at 4 units. So,
I don't think so.
It's never, I'm gonna go in the system and I'm gonna look right now.
I don't
and
think,
this is just general questions. I'm
Yeah.
not trying to stir any pot at all. I'm just curious.
69 Cross Street.
So what I was told originally was that all commercial buildings in town are charged for 2 units worth of water. Is that correct?
That is not correct.
Okay, so is each unit considered, that's 12,000 gallons minimum that you're getting charged for, correct?
correct.
Correct.
Used to
So,
be 15, we dropped it to 12.
okay, so as of this week, when I came up here to get my bill, to discuss my bill, I was at 4 units at $3.19 a piece per quarter, which is roughly almost $1,300 a quarter. We decided to have both of our apartments, we redid them. We wanted to keep locals in there. I feel like a lot of stuff in Vermont's going to Airbnbs, which doesn't give the locals a place to live. I feel like that's more of a moneymaker. We're more trying to keep the community together and give some better rates to some locals to be able to keep some locals in town, because it's tough, that doesn't help us financially, but it helps us try to keep some people in the community. I feel we're getting charged a lot more than the water we're actually using. Downstairs and the kitchen aspect of it, we have a 3-bay sink. I'm starting to do to-go food a couple days a week, which, I'm not having people inside,
Only one bathroom's being used.
1 bathroom's being used, a
No
3-bay
dishwasher.
sink. We have no dishwashers in the whole building. We have no wash machines. So we're getting charged for 144,000 gallons of water quarterly. I think we're well below 70,000 gallons,
Each,
which I'm putting my own water meter on anyway, so that I can monitor.
You're charged for 2 units. You have
that's
2
not
units of
all,
water,
though.
2 units to sewer, and 2 debt units. 1 for the
So-
restaurant and 1 for.
So I had gotten my bill, which was that one that was around $800, correct? Something like that. It was saying that the water, what I was explained to was the water was not shut off, but winterized when we bought the building. So the commercial spot downstairs that we were supposedly getting charged for 2 units worth as a commercial building was, not, the water wasn't being used because it was winterized. So we've done some work in there. We've now had it, back to full use now. So everything's turned back on and everything. But I was told that was going back. We were only paying $50 a month or $50 a quarter for each unit because it wasn't being used technically. So I'm just trying to figure out.
if the water is shut off to the unit, that's when you'd be paying the debt service only. The water and sewer were completely shut off. You're not getting anything in.
Okay.
So
We would physically have to go.
we would go in
shut the water.
and
Okay.
shut the meat,
Okay.
shut it
Well,
off.
that's what I was getting charged for. That was on my bill. So I was paying $50 for each unit downstairs and then paying the regular water bills for the 2 units upstairs, which was $319.
So each apartment will get 1 unit. And that goes for every apartment building
Yeah.
in the entire town.
Okay,
So if you have an apartment building with 10 apartments in it, you have 10 units because each apartment has a unit.
definitely. And I understand that.
And each commercial one is 1 unit, correct?
Correct.
There are some that pay, like if you go over your allotted
Uh-huh.
in the commercial, then you would pay your overage,
Overage.
right? So if you, regardless if you use 4,000 gallons or the 11,999 gallons, you're paying that 318 total if you're on water and sewer.
Uh-huh.
If you go over that 12,000 gallons, that's when the per gallon fee comes
So
in.
where's the meter on our building to know if we're going over?
I don't know where your meter
I have
is, but
no
your
idea.
meter would be 1 meter for the entire building, correct?
Correct. And so you actually are entitled to 30,
So-
if you have, well, you, right now, you're only in the system at 2 units. That's all you're in the system for. I just went and
Okay.
looked.
That's
So you would be entitled
That's
to
all I see.
24,000 gallons of water.
I
Before
would,
you get an
I
overcharge.
think that is very reasonable.
That's
That is,
very
that
fair.
is,
That sounds
That-
better, right?
Yeah.
that's where I'm trying to be
I will
at.
say that if you've got 2, or if you've got 2 apartments and a commercial unit, you're
Yes, it
gonna
should
be
be
at
free.
3.
And
It would
this
have
is,
to be
this is my thing,
corrected.
this is my big question. So say with 3 units, say that's 36,000. So say I'm at 100,000 gallons around quarterly and I'm only using 40,000 gallons
No,
I'm
no.
paying
It's
for
36,000 gallons for the quarter. Let me get that straight.
per
first.
unit. So I mean, if say I'm paying.
No,
for
no, no.
3
It's 12,000 per
12,000.
unit for the quarter. So it's
Oh.
36,000 gallons for the quarter is what you would be entitled to with 3 units in your building.
Okay,
So
I thought
if
a
you go
general
over
household's around
36,000 gallons
12,000
in the
a month.
quarter,
No, no, that's what
Oh.
that's what we're
Okay.
using. And if you go look at our like metered usage for everybody,
okay.
we have a couple that are higher than that, but the vast
Most of them are
majority
less.
are
Okay,
less. Like I think I'm at 5,000 a quarter for usage in my house.
Uh-huh.
And there's, I mean, granted, there's only 2 people, but there's 2 people and I'm home all day because I work from home. There are definitely a few, there's some people out there that have some hydroponics going on in their home.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they're pulling down 12,000 a month.
Uh-huh.
But generally speaking, a household, unless you've got a leaky toilet, unless you've got a sink that, and honestly, I've talked to some people who have gotten those overage bills and they find out that, their ice maker's leaking.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
has been leaking and compromised their entire kitchen floor.
yeah.
So
And-
if you're pulling down 12,000 a month, it's time to look at it and find out.
Well, that's where I'm at. Like, that's why I want to know where I can check on my building to see exactly how much water I'm using. Because I'm curious in general, as I get my business going a little more, how much water I'm really
So your meter,
personally using.
your
it
meter.
should be in the basement probably.
Your
Do you have,
meter's
yeah, there's a
not
basement in that
something
building.
Yeah,
you
there
isn't
ain't a basement there.
Yeah, there's no
Oh.
basement there.
Then it's probably in that back area. I'm trying to think where it would be in that building.
I've been trying to find it where my main water comes in, but I'm gonna keep
Call and
digging.
ask Zach. They could tell you.
So this is my big just kind of issue with this is, and I mean, obviously everyone's in the same boat. I understand that for sure. But I mean, every unit, I understand that's limited to each amount of water. But if I'm only using 13,000 gallons in that quarter for my whole building, but I'm paying for 36,000 gallons, that's a lot. That's like, your electricity bill. Would you want to be paying
That's
3
the
times what
base
your
rate. The base rate just includes 12,000 gallons. The base rate is what keeps that system available for you to use, period.
Yeah.
Okay.
You
Whether
know,
you use it or
without that
not.
base rate, the system doesn't exist.
Okay.
And I mean, and I.
So then you're going to be putting in wells and septics.
And I'm just saying, as a very small building with trying to keep a couple locals in there, $1,000 a quarter is a lot of money for me. For me, that's a lot of money to be paying just to be washing some dishes and for 2 single people to be taking a shower.
It's what every other business, you've got businesses
it's
across the
also what
country are
the other-
exactly the
And I just
same.
wanted to voice my opinion
Rental.
on personally saying I think that's
Is this
So-
your first quarterly that you've gotten?
the Goulettes must have taken care of the
Well,
first
that's
one.
what I'm asking. Was there any unpaid bills before that weren't
There is
taken
one.
care of?
There
They were
is one, but
supposedly-
Oh, wait a minute.
I just sent that.
We're-
I sent
we're
that to
not-
Craig.
We're not
Okay.
gonna talk about past.
Yeah,
dues
I'm not
or
getting on
things,
HIPAA or
guys.
anything.
No, I just
Um,
wondered if it would have been, any overages were added to your bill.
That was taken
No.
care of via the lawyer, what they
Okay.
told me. Which
So-
the Goulettes have been very nice
Yeah,
to us
no,
and very helpful and I want to thank them for that. I just personally wanted to hear from, I've asked some questions around town and I haven't really gotten great answers from people. So
Oh, there's all day. If you want to get a different story, just ask around town. You'll get a different story every day of the week.
Well, that's why we're here. We're here in front of the board. I want to hear from the actual board. I like getting my facts from the source. I don't like hearing he said, she said stuff. So that pretty much answers most of
And
the
I mean,
questions right there.
I know for us, when I wasn't on the board at the time, but I know I was shocked when I got my last increase. It is a consequence of not staying ahead and staying up. If you increase to accommodate your costs each year, it's going to be less of a shock.
Mhm.
We are on par right now with Vermont averages as far as the cost and gallons allocated. I know that there are some people in a nearby town who literally just had theirs doubled.
Mhm.
I was shocked last year. Our increase, which I think was what, 30% total, 20% if you were water and sewer. It was a
That's
lot.
Yeah,
It was a
that's-
lot,
that's a
but
lot.
But they hadn't done an
Lancaster's-
increase since 2016. That's your problem.
Lancaster's doubled.
Okay.
So we are doing everything that we can to get this information.
Yeah.
out.
And I see that and I
So
appreciate
that we,
that.
I mean, and to me, like, I'm gonna be honest, I'm one person, I make monthly payments
Mhm.
because to me, managing 108 a month,
Yeah.
I know it's the same amount of money,
Yeah.
but 108 a month that I have
It's a budget.
coming out, I know I've got to pay that every month.
And that's
It's
where
less
we're at.
shocking than, and I mean, it does unfortunately impact rents, what you've got to
For sure,
set
for
for
sure. And
rent.
that's where I'm trying to eventually get at with a new building, to us, it's commercial. That's a totally new game for us. We have a 1,100 square foot home in East Haven. It's, that's a huge step for us. So we just like to know, just where it's all going and being on page. We plan on being in town for a long time. So I want to, just want to know some of this stuff and I'm glad we are here.
as far as Island Pond's concerned, we're still in the middle, looking at other communities throughout the state. We're still in the middle of not being the most expensive and not being the least expensive.
Definitely.
We are running in the middle of the state.
Yeah, because we,
Which
I would
is,
love to be the bottom, but unfortunately.
yeah, but we're lucky to be there.
Yeah,
because-
yeah.
Because we don't have a lot of ratepayers on this system. and
Mhm.
That's the big
And that
thing.
also.
and that's why,
Eight
that's,
hundred was what we got, Mike, 800 ratepayers on water.
700 and let's see, 729.
729. So it's hard on everybody.
And less on sewer.
well, no, that's great. And that was my other question. So is sewer and water combined at 319 or is there? is
So
that
if you
separate?
Yeah.
look at your bill, you have the debt service, which is $49, and then you have your water bill and then your sewer bill.
Okay.
They are billed separately. However, whatever comes in for water goes out for sewer.
Uh-huh,
They are metered the same.
okay.
They don't allow you to run a hose into the backyard and only pay for.
Yeah. So I mean, so is that 319 in and then 319 you're paying out?
No, you're paying 300. It's like 318 total.
Okay.
Per
But it's-
unit.
For each
set up-
quarter
it's
for
set up
water
separately
and
on the
sewer.
bill. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
But like when it says total due,
That's your total due. It's not double it. Don't double
Okay.
it.
Water and sewer.
okay,
Yeah, okay.
Right.
perfect.
It's-
So it'll show like an itemized, but the separate,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, down at the bottom.
Do you
The
want
bills-
to print my bill out, Mike, from our thing? I'll just.
No, you're fine. I understand that completely. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page that I'm at 3 units now and not 4.
no, you're
I
at
think,
2 units. Did you say, Mike, 2 units?
well, I just,
Are your apartments currently occupied?
Mike,
they each have one. And we're
Uh,
not trying to screw
full-time
anybody,
one.
so we're,
The other one is not full-time.
One's a weekender and one's a,
They're apartments and they're occupied, so
Yeah, should be 3 units.
I just want to make sure it's 3 and not 4, because I think 4 is excessive.
No,
four is
No,
excessive.
actually, you're right now, you're in for 2, so
two
it's
units.
probably gonna get adjusted to 3.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm shooting myself in the foot, but we're honest people. We're not trying to screw any.
But I think,
Believe me, when we just went through the last, we did find a couple that, you know, nope, that's not right. That's not right.
Okay,
yeah, we
Oh,
go
there-
through that list every year.
okay,
Because
okay.
things changed in town and, you know, people added an apartment and
Mhm.
this or, so that's when we look at that once a year and
Cool.
try to
And
keep it-
sometimes there's
try to keep
things,
abreast of it.
Definitely.
like you're pulling down 12,000 gallons a month and we only have. you down
That was my bad.
No, but there are
I
some
had my
out there
numbers wrong.
that have 1 unit
Uh-huh.
and they're pulling down
Okay.
12,000 and it's time to go look at those.
Yeah,
and see,
definitely.
did you break out?
So-
Are you now an apartment?
Here, I can share, actually, I have your bill here that we can look at, because it's the first bill, there's nothing on it. That shows, you can see on the bill where it says 2 units sewer metered usage 390, 2 units water 148, and debt service should have a quantity in there somewhere, but it's 2 units as well at 98 because it's 49 a unit.
That's
for debt
right,
service.
49 each.
When we get to, actually reviewing your meter a little more, you're gonna start to see the usage on your account, and you
Okay.
guys can access this as well.
Great.
And so over time, when we have more data as we, look at things, you're gonna see that change. So you have
Okay.
a better idea of where you're at.
Well, thank you, everyone that answered.
We're actually gonna have a system where, let's say 1 month you go up a lot on
I'm sitting
water
now and I
usage,
need to move it.
you're gonna get a red flag. You're gonna get a notice saying, hey, you better look at your toilets, or, you better look
Yeah,
at
something's leaking. or-
something, you're using a lot of water that normally on average you need.
Yeah,
So we're
great.
trying to be proactive and letting the customers know that, but this isn't quite implemented yet, but that's our
Awesome.
that's our goal.
That's the goal for, okay, awesome.
That'll-
And that's what we're about the environment. We don't like to waste stuff. We try to, we're part of a small community, whether we're in East Haven or we're in here, so we're for the people just as much as, small town people.
Good job.
Okay.
Cool. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no problem.
Does that put us onto the budget report?
It does.
We have 2. We have a water budget and a sewer budget.
Why don't we start with water, because that's the new one that you guys haven't seen yet.
So 2024 is today.
And that's,
2025
I will
is
say,
tomorrow.
2024 is projected, but it's not final. Teresa is doing some work on that still, because I was on the phone with her this afternoon, and because the first thing that flagged me was when I saw plant operations, and 156,913 is what our half the contract, because half is paid by water and half is paid by sewer to H2O. And then all of a sudden we had spent 242. I'm like, well, what's in there? Well, it's the service line inventory. She didn't have a place to put it, so that's where it got stuck. So up above under miscellaneous, there's $93,000. That's the service line inventory, but we have not received that yet. I went ahead and put it in on the revenue side, but Joel has submitted it, but the reimbursement has not come through yet. So it may not show up by December 31st. So
Is
I
that
will
that
have-
$90,000 that we were expecting to get?
yes, that's exactly what it cost.
Yeah. And that was supposed to go towards our new meters that we're supposed to get.
Correct.
But
And we've
so-
paid H2O now, and so
Right.
yes,
So
that's
that,
been
so
a
that
question
hasn't
I
really
had.
come to the nutrition yet.
Well, they just got paid, a month ago. So
Okay. So what you're telling me then is this summer, then we should be able to start putting in new meters.
I'm hoping so.
Okay.
Yippee skippy.
Okay, so 2025, which is what I did this over 5 years because we need to start planning for your next big loan payment that's going to start. So my assumption on this is that we are going to be in engineering and all that crap all of this year for the water treatment plants. I don't believe we will be constructing water treatment plants until 2026.
So very silly question. New connections, $2,000. Are we anticipating new connections or are we just hoping
We
and praying
actually
for
had
those?
$5,000 in new connections this year,
I saw that.
Yeah, we did.
which was
2,500
which
bucks
was
a piece.
nice, but they've always
That's two.
so those numbers are always the same in the budget, has been for years. They always put 2,000 in. Some
And
years
that's
they go
one
over.
connection?
No, $2,500 per connection.
Okay, so we're projecting that we're going to get one new connection.
At least.
Okay. One new person. Okay. I just want to make sure I knew where that number was
Did
coming
that,
from.
you know, I mean, we can change any of these numbers. You know, this is what, you know, has been in the budget in the past. I didn't change it. If you want to
No.
change it, you can.
No, it's worked out well at 2,500.
But it's 2,000 is what's in the budget. Do we want 2,500?
The next year?
Yeah.
No, I think you could
Leave it at 2,000 in case we don't get one. We're only
What,
short 1,500.
25. That's what a connection costs. 25.
For water only?
Water only. Sewer is different. Sewer is a different permit and a different fee. Got nothing to do with the water department budget.
This
I would
is
leave
water.
it.
This is water.
Right. I
Correct.
was asking if there was a separate fee.
Yes, there is for
Oh,
sewer.
for sewer. I did break out here only for your guys' benefit because when we get into 27 and 28, we have to make a decision how we're going to do the loan payment for the water treatment plant refurbishment. Because in the past, we've always combined debt service and water rents into one line item. But they make a difference in the bill, you know, how it gets set in the bill. So,
So that'll be increasing our debt service.
well, that's just it. You can do it either way. I just need to know how we're going to do it. So
Well, I
when
think
we
should
get,
it-
well, let's go through 25 first, and then we can
Okay.
start talking about future ones.
Yep.
Let's start with expenses because revenue is based on expenses. So in the past, we talked about 25,000 towards the admin support for Joel and I for the water department to deal with your grants and your engineering and all that crap. Are you good with that?
Yes. Yeah, because
Is that sufficient?
that's
for
not
what-
only doing your grants, that's including all the paperwork involved of doing a project while you're doing it and all the stuff that you have to fill out in order to get the money.
Yeah,
So,
there is
that's
that.
it.
And then all of this that I know that I at least have spent a ton of time on your billing and all that other stuff. So
I was gonna say, is that covering your time that is allotted to the water and sewer sufficiently?
I think when you combine it, so I've got this kind of flip flop because sewer has a much bigger amount in it for this year, but then I flip flop them next year because the sewer treatment plant should be under construction this year. We should be wrapping that up next year. So sewer, we can go down next year, but water is going to go up as we get closer to actually building, refurbishing 2 water treatment plants and doing all of that
And
work.
that's why 26, you're going up to 45 and the other one's going
Correct,
down.
because
to
we're kind of
25.
just flip-flopping from water to sewer because this
That makes-
for
that makes
25 we
perfect-
have sewer in at 45 and then 26 I have sewer in at 25.
I just would hate to see us run into a situation where it's like, oop, your allotted hours are gobbled up and
It's not really the way that it works. It's more a
Okay.
reimbursement to the town for our expertise and it's not like an hour for hour rate. So,
Okay.
we kind of shift back and forth. Joel and I talked about this earlier
Yeah.
today because it's not like there's I only worked 1 hour this week on water. Well, no, I worked, 2 hours, but it was water and sewer. And then
right. I just want to make sure we were being adequately there.
And plus, we're gonna get some reimbursement under these grants anyways for some of your time, both you and. Joe.
maybe, well, we are going to get 20 on sewer this year. We will get 20,000 when we do sludge removal because
Yeah.
there is $20,000 in the NBRC grant that will come to
Yeah.
the town for administering that grant.
And that helps.
It does. Doesn't hurt. um, so, and the other thing I talked to Teresa too about today was if we should keep these line items, this 25, 45, 25, if those should stay in each individual water and sewer, or if those should be transferred into the operations account and then the operations account pays the town. We didn't make a decision on that yet. So, but the dollar amount to the budget won't make a difference. It's just how it would get shown in the reports. Um, and then if it would make it easier for Joel and I to be able to get our hours covered. So we can talk about that next month. That's not important. This is the dollar amount is what's important right now. Your guys' stipends, you get the same amount from water as you get from sewer. There is a new cost that each water and sewer are going to have to contribute to. We are going to be required to do a single audit for the next at least 5 years as we go through these two projects, because we're going to expend over $750,000 in federal funding per year. So the cost for that single audit is about $26,000. It goes up. We have a contract for 5 years that we had to do for the wastewater treatment plant, but this is going to contribute to it as well. So it was decided, well, it wasn't decided. We're proposing that will get split 3 ways. Water will pay a third, sewer will pay a third, and the town will pay a third.
Because
the
it
three
covers us
entities-
and the
yeah,
town, correct?
That's right.
correct,
Okay.
correct.
But in your budget here in 3 years, you're looking at almost $20,000 in audit costs. So that's kind of a little bit more than what you're saying.
No, it's 25,000 a year.
Oh, a
And
year.
increases
I'm
each
sorry.
year.
Each
I'm
year
sorry.
we have to have an audit.
Yeah.
And it
it's
goes
that
up.
much-
It starts
and
at-
it's that much money.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Oh yeah,
My
single
God.
audits are
You wanna go open an
extremely
auditing
expensive.
business with me?
Right? Well,
Been an accountant.
Well, it's
Mhm.
because we're dealing with so much money. I mean, we're dealing with millions and millions.
I
of
say
dollars.
millions and millions and millions of dollars.
So,
If-
you know,
So
you
their
almost should
audit cost is probably
welcome
based
it.
on that amount. The percentage.
And so what I can say is going forward, there is the potential that some of those audit costs can get allocated to the grants if there's money available, which if you've seen, what we got for bids, there was no money available.
There ain't
but-
no money.
So,
Jesus.
silly question,
I feel like it's
Yeah.
so far. Bruce.
because it's a water and sewer audit,
Makes sense.
and there's more water users than sewer users. Can you allocate more to the water, or does it have to be split evenly?
Well, the thing is, the water doesn't need it this year. So
Okay.
really,
So we're just gonna
sewer
split it
needs
across.
but because it's all so intermingled between the two, I think it's fair that they each split it 50-50, kind of like we did the trucks.
Yep, okay.
But, in essence, sewer owes more now, but water's going to owe more in 2 years.
And eventually they'll both even out. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Insurance, we've always kept it at 2,500. I don't know if that needs to be modified at all.
We have to wait till we get a bill from VLCT.
Does that break out water and sewer
It
on there
does.
somewhere?
It
Oh, okay.
actually does, yep.
Yeah.
Well, then we will plug it in when we get it. Electricity, I kept it the same because we should see some of those credits from Green Lantern Solar should show up on those bills somewhere.
Now,
So I
that's
didn't,
that's Creamery Road.
yeah.
So that $5,000 you're getting a year?
Yeah, that goes to all the water bills though. It's gonna,
Oh,
all
it's
the
going-
electric bills.
So
It's gonna go
going
across
directly,
all the town electric bills.
it's not going to all the town electric bills, it's just going to this one?
No,
No,
you
no,
just said
no, it's
gotta be
going to
split
all
across.
the town electric bills. So I just didn't increase you any for next
Oh,
year,
okay.
but if you want to raise that, you can. I mean, I bump it up every other year.
Do we know if VEC is projected in?
Yes,
Rate
2% next year.
I would bump it 2% just to be safe. Because when I look at the whole town's, as a whole, the town's electric bills, the water ones are little bitties. So let's just project
Yeah,
that
no,
2%.
The co-op is
increase.
looking for a 2% rate
Okay.
increase.
Hey, yippee skippy.
So equipment purchase, I not sure what this is. I'm guessing it has something to do with maybe the generator.
Meter readers?
No, this equipment purchase, I'm gonna bet has something to do with the generator that got fixed.
Yes, we just spent $2,000 for repair on that. Am I right? No?
Yep.
That's
I
because
don't know
the,
what's in there because we had 1,000 in the budget, but
Yeah,
5,600 is what we spent. And I think when I went and looked back at last year, we were over budget last year too on that.
It's that and then the hydrant.
correct. That
So-
hydrant, we had a hydrant.
Oh,
that
I
got
bet that's just the
broken,
hydrant. That hydrant's
Might
probably.
just be, yeah.
Which insurance company was supposed
Why-
to pay for that? That's
why
from
wouldn't-
that car accident, right?
Yeah,
Well, did we collect from the insurance?
they haven't gotten back with us.
Well, I think we
It
should
takes
push on
time to
that
come back.
because it's not the town's fault.
No,
The woman had insurance and her insurance should be paying for the repair to that hydrant.
I don't disagree, but in the interim, we
I
definitely
mean,
needed
that's what
something.
they have insurance for.
Yeah,
We just need to make sure that that case is still moving forward. Okay, next line.
So are we good? I bumped the budget on that to
No,
5,000.
that,
Yeah, I would bump it. If we've overran it 2 years in a row, that's time to bump it.
Yeah, last year we ran it over. We had a $10,000 budget. We spent 20. So obviously that line item is always high. Equipment maintenance, we only spent 400. And when I look back the year before, we were over the year before.
Mike, you just went gobble gobble. We lost you.
You lost me.
There you go.
I felt like 1,000 for a maintenance was fine. Are you guys good with that? I don't think we have that much equipment.
And it's
Well,
all,
Mike, that's gonna change now. Because I brought up the point to Zach and Roger that we have a standby generator there at the town garage. And that generator needed to have a maintenance battery charger put on it. That it make sure that it had a bolt heater on it. And to make sure that battery gets changed every 4 years. And that the oil change and everything gets done every year on that generator. It's been years since that generator has been maintained. And that was a big thing with me and Zach. I said, look, that's a standby generator for not only the town, but the water and sewer department. And we need that generator. And when's the last time you changed the oil on it? And he couldn't answer it. I says, when's the last time the battery was changed? When's the last time you started it? That generator should be started once a month. And he couldn't answer that either. So I says, if you're gonna have a standby generator, that's the prerequisites of what's required to have something like that on standby. So now you're gonna see an increase in that line item. It's gonna have the guy that's maintaining the generator at Pleasant Street
Just-
to maintain the one at the garage.
I just need to know what you want the budget amount to be.
So I think we should add $1,500 to that.
Make it 2,500.
Yep.
Is everybody else good with that?
If that's what it costs to maintain a generator and maintain all of our equipment, then yeah, that sounds good. Because
you
equipment
can put the
maintenance
mon-
includes like vehicles and oil changes and all that. So we were at half of it, so yeah, we're good. Increase that 1,500.
Yep.
Okay, equipment hire, I think that's the same amount that's been in the budget for the last few years. They haven't hit it, they haven't gone over it.
But it doesn't take much if we have to rent some equipment to blow that number.
But is it something, I mean, if they used half of it last year, they used half of it this year, I don't think there's a justification to raise it any.
No, I would leave it right where it is. Cause aren't they gonna have to rent some of the town equipment for the bridges that they've all gotta replace to the,
The water
that all
department
been
doesn't
done?
replace bridges.
No,
Okay,
it has been taken care of.
okay.
Tools, we always have 500 in there. They've never spent it.
We need to leave it there just in case.
Paving.
What are we
Spend
paving?
5,000 when they dig up to repair something.
That's
It's
for the
patch.
streets.
Oh, okay,
Street paving.
okay.
Trying to have them work more often with the road crew. That way, you don't dig.
Keep-
Yeah.
Okay, we got
It
that.
keeps the cost down too.
Yes.
Okay.
So
No, I think that's fine what we got.
yeah. Operating supplies. We raised it last year to 9,000. I think based on input from Roger.
Some of that was increasing.
Actually, wait a minute.
Was that increasing chemicals too?
Oh, we that is chemicals.
Yes.
We raised it because we spent 9,000 last year, but this year we've only spent 3. But my guess is it depends on when they reorder.
Yeah.
Legal services, I bumped it 500 because there's going to be a bond vote and all that good stuff coming up. Do you think that's adequate, Joel?
I don't know,
Yes.
newspaper advertising is expensive.
That is true.
That's legal services, 2,000.
Maybe you should put it up to 2,500.
Okay. The town service fee, that includes your muni billing, and then paying the rest of it goes to Teresa and her office for collecting your payments.
Okay.
And she did not indicate, because you pay 11,000 from both water and sewer, and she did not indicate that they're asking for more. Advertising, do we need to bump that? Or, I mean, how many newspaper ads do we have to run for? If it's just a bond vote, it's just one little ad, isn't it?
One.
If you go over that by a little bit, it's not going to make any difference. Just
Yeah.
leave it at 200.
Plant operations, we have an automatic increase every year on that. So, and I don't think that's an exact dollar amount, but it's close.
Within 10%.
Well, I think I have 4% in there because I wasn't certain that this amount was correct from 24. Because I think I calculated that when I did your budget last year. And I don't have a copy of the contract, so I wasn't certain, but I'm pretty sure they're only a 3% increase per year. But I have 4% in for 25. So it may be a little less than that.
So why are we so high on the 2024 on that?
That's the one I was telling you. That's the service line inventory cost is
Oh,
in that
okay,
item.
sorry.
Trust me, I flipped out when I saw it today. Teresa goes, "Oh, I had to have someplace to stick it temporarily, so that's where it went."
At least we got it.
No, we got monies back for that, right?
We haven't
No,
yet. We have
not
Joel
yet.
submitted it. That's up here under miscellaneous revenue for 93,000. So that's the
That'll
offset.
come-
for the
That'll
difference.
come in next year's budget.
Probably.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Sure, all the state people are on vacation already.
Yes. Yes, they are. Some of them.
Year round.
Rent, I believe that's the $1,000. I think that's what they pay the town for that corner they use in town hall.
Yep.
Miscellaneous, they've always it used to be 2,000. We bumped it down to 1,000 last year because they'd only used $14. But this year we have 1,600. But that might just be stuff that Teresa hasn't moved yet.
Yeah.
Lakeshore Drive bond payment. That one we have for. Oh, why isn't that over here? Oops.
Looks like we have 2 more years according to your thingy, Jake.
Yeah.
Oh
'cause
no,
20
we have more than that. I just forgot to copy it over. Ooh, I hope it didn't screw up my. Yep, it's going to mean the rates in 28 and 29 have to go up more than I put them in for. See, that's why we go through this.
Yeah. How many more years we got to pay on that?
Oh, God,
What,
a
20?
lot. Let me see if it says. It should say in your town report here. Let me look.
Yeah.
Water improvement loan, 2039.
Wasn't far off.
You around, right?
Yeah.
So water treatment plant upgrade loan, this is where your cost is
Another
gonna come
meeting?
in for your
Mhm.
water
We have
treatment
another
plant
meeting
upgrade.
to finish this.
That's not gonna be until 27.
We need to just move it on because my leg's starting to swell. Sorry.
So you think the bond payment's gonna be that high?
Yep, it could be higher than that, depending on what we can get for grant subsidies on it.
Okay.
Because that's what Michael Maynard gave us. That's what DWSRF, I think he put in that it would be like 110,000, but that's based upon an $8 million project. And, you know, I just don't believe that it's going to come in at $8 million. Having done the wastewater treatment plant that started at 4 and is now 9, I don't believe him. So I bumped it to 150 when we met with our consultant there. Oh, what is her name?
Ashley?
Ashley. She told us to plan on $200,000 a year for a payment if we can't come up with some money. So,
And that
I
was
think
based
we'll-
on what, $4 billion per plant for the upgrade?
well, yeah, I mean it's 8 million for the project because the project includes more than just the 2 plants. You know,
Oh,
it
right.
includes lining of the reservoir. Well, it's going to have to line the other reservoir, but there's other work that needs to be done too. One of the
Yeah.
intakes needs rebuilt.
Generators, which we only have one now, but we should have
Building
one.
improvements. There's lots
Yeah,
of stuff.
should have one at
Okay.
each building
So that number's good then?
for now.
Well, right now there's nothing in that line item, so because you don't have a loan payment yet, I'm projecting 27.
Right.
So hydrant repair, actually, this is where if we paid for a hydrant, that should be reallocated here. Can you make a note for that, Noah, to talk to Teresa about that? Because if we actually paid, if that's what this $5,600 up here is, that should move
Yeah.
into hydrant. It should not be underneath, repair, equipment repair. Water testing, we bumped that last year based on what Roger told us, but we still went over it again. So I
You're
bumped it up
kidding.
to 5,000.
Oh,
He did tell me that it was,
didn't they add to the water testing for PFAs?
yeah, they added a lot of stuff. And he thought last year he gave us an estimate of 4,000, but we came in at 5. So I'm guessing it may be more than that even over time.
And that used to be $2,000 when I first got on the board.
Our permit fees, that's our annual water permit. It was 2,000 this year. I put 2,000 in the budget for next year. And then reservoir maintenance, we put 15,000 into that account every year.
Good thing.
I'm gonna have to keep putting that in.
Oh yeah. Well, you can see it didn't help us, where we don't have enough in there to cover relining one reservoir. So, and we have 2 of them to deal with.
So this $190,000, are we gonna be able to get reimbursed on any of that, Mike?
The 190,000, I applied for a grant that'll pay the whole thing on the one
Oh, great.
on that. So keep your fingers crossed.
Yes. I'll say an extra prayer.
Please do. um, engineering services. Why do we have? Oh, because we got the reimbursement for that up here somewhere, didn't we? Or we're supposed to have. Wait a minute. I don't know what What did we pay for engineering this year, Joel?
For water?
Yeah.
We really haven't.
Was it the
That's what I
Pleasant
was
Street?
thinking.
Was it the Pleasant Street pump station?
No, that's long done.
No, that's long gone. It could have been a late bill early in January from the year before or something like
Yeah.
that. But no, I don't think it's
I'll
even
ask
that. I mean,
Teresa. It might be something that's in the wrong place.
we've settled the first step. One was 43,800 and that's all covered. That's all done. And we really haven't got to final design yet. So we shouldn't have any.
I don't know if that's anything that they did on the reservoir, the
Oh,
testing
right.
or anything.
Right. That could be that. Yep.
So if so, we actually pulled money out of the reserve account because we went over 15,000. So building maintenance. I left this in here. We didn't spend anything this year. I mean, when we do the big project, we're going to be doing a lot of work to those buildings. So I don't know if we're really going to spend anything on them, but I'm hesitant to take it out in the event that they're old, they do need work. And what if they need work before?
Yeah. How much duct tape does $10,000 buy?
Right.
I don't know.
Okay.
About 1,000 cases.
So the truck reserve fund, that's your payment right now on the trucks. If you look over to 28 and 29, where the trucks are paid off at the end of 27, I bumped that to 15,000 a year because you're going to be replacing those trucks and they're going to cost more than the last ones you bought. So,
Right.
and then this one, I have a question on this. The infrastructure improvement fund. I don't remember if that was something where we were just reimbursing the town because the town has an infrastructure reserve fund. Water does not have an infrastructure improvement fund. Or were we creating one this year? Do you remember from
Can I
last
ask
year?
can I ask a stupid question, Mike?
Yeah.
When we did the repairs on the sewage treatment pump stations, did we borrow from an account to pay
Yes,
off?
those have all been paid back now.
Okay,
I
I'm
worked
just-
with Teresa a couple months ago. We got all of those, the reimbursements came back in for certain things, and so she's got them all paid back.
okay.
Because
So,
yes,
I
we
mean-
did. And we have a bank loan, but that's on the sewer side. That's not on water
That's
side.
on the sewer side, that's correct.
With
So
leaving that,
was last year or 2024 the first year we put this 40,000? We had this line item?
It says that we had it in 23, but I don't see where we ever put anything anywhere. We did put money into the town's infrastructure reserve fund in.
This isn't the payback money that they owe us for, oh no, that's sewer.
Well, that's just it. That was just it. I think it was a payment from water to the reserve fund, but it was being credited to sewer. It was one of those.
So-
Yeah, that's right. That's
It was
why I
something
said
not
what I
not
said.
right.
But we did a boo-boo there.
right
But-
now, should we just leave that? I mean, honestly, the projected rate is not that high. It would not hurt us to have a reserve account if we need to. I would leave it in for the future,
Yeah, I think you should.
just to give us something. So I'm
We-
gonna be
we'll
really
just have to
honest here,
decide.
guys. My leg is starting to swell. So I know how important this is, but we need to really move forward or I'm gonna have to leave and go home where I can call back in with a leg elevated.
Actually, I have to leave too.
Because it's getting really bad right now.
Does, real quick, before everybody goes, do we want to have another scheduled meeting here in December, say December 31st?
I'm not going to be here.
I will not be here December 31st.
Never mind.
I can pick a different day to do it on.
I mean,
have no-
your guys' budget, it's more, are you okay with this basic budget? Your budget's not due to be finalized yet. You know, it has to be
It's-
finalized
You got time.
before it goes to the book. So
The biggest thing that I see is that, I mean, like, this is, I want to confirm that these numbers are what we're using to produce the bills that go out in March, correct?
correct. That's what I wanted to put a little note on the bills, you know,
That's-
what the expected increase was gonna be.
So that's what I'm thinking. And I would rather err on the side, like, personally, as somebody who receives a bill, I would rather be told your new bill is going to be $125 and have it come out to $112.50 than be told the other way. So I say bump it, round it, and say this is an estimate, it's approximate. We are hoping to come in here or lower. As opposed to, this
I'm
is,
with you on that.
like, I just want to be prepared rather than blindsided.
I think our 25 rates aren't gonna go up a whole lot. It's
I said, they're not looking, they're
like,
looking like 2 to 3%.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say 3%.
I'm gonna say I would make it 5. Because we're gonna have to get these later years are gonna have to go up because you can see we're not making enough to cover the expenses. Because I left out one of the loan payments by mistake.
So even if we're over 2%, that 2% could go towards the refurbishment of our 2 plants. And start
Well,
budgeting,
yeah.
start
Right.
budgeting some money for that.
I would do a 5% increase and say, this is what we're going to do.
I
Even if
agree.
our budget comes out a little bit, start rolling that money. I mean,
Yeah, we gotta start thinking about what's coming down the pike here.
I can handle a 5% increase. I can handle being told in March, in 3 months, your payment will be this, crap now. Rather than in March, go, whoop, here you go.
Look what the state just did us with the schools, 6% coming up. in
It is what it is,
2025.
but I can't control what they did. So
No, I'm just
let's-
saying, you know,
let's control what we do, and that is project as soon as possible. So Mike, if you can come up with those rates for putting on the little thingamajigger,
Yeah.
okay. Do we need to go through the sewer in level? We already did that once, right?
That's
Stuart,
all.
the only thing you're gonna notice on that is I added in the audit cost.
yeah, I saw that.
And I don't think I really changed anything else. The rates didn't
Don't have
change
it.
from the last time that I told you.
You get
You know,
one?
it's going up $20 a quarter.
I think the sewer one is could be pretty well right online.
So that being done with the budget report, we're gonna project a 5% increase to sewer and a 5% increase to water, correct?
Is that what I did on sewer was 5%?
Oh, wait a minute, what's the percentage on water, on sewer?
I don't know.
More than that,
Actually, I think I did 4% on sewer.
Yep,
is it?
yep.
Yeah, because we had such a big increase before, but I mean, we
So
could
let's go
do
5 and 5.
5 and 5.
I think so.
I think
I don't thi-
it just makes it a little easier going forward because if you can, you know, you don't have to jump so much in future years.
Right, so the next year when it's supposed to be 7%, maybe we get away with 6%. You know, say, we got the cushion, do it, that, yeah. So other than that, I think we have the minutes. I can get, when you guys get a second. And then we have the other business, which is the,
We don't
source
have an
line
executive
inventory,
session.
the meter update.
No, we do not.
Meter updates.
That's all inventory. So I need to talk to Roger and see when he plans on getting those in.
What's that now?
The meters, our meters.
Right, I'd
I
like to,
tried calling him today.
okay,
Couldn't get a hold of him. In fact, it went straight to the voicemail, so I don't know what the deal is there, but I will get a hold of him probably tomorrow, actually, since I'm doing a bunch of water stuff.
and ask him, and just out of curiosity, ask him if he's getting them all at once and where are we gonna put all these?
He should be getting them all at once.
Because that's gonna save on freight if you buy it, a
Do it
majority.
in bulk. Yep.
Do, get it all at once.
We don't care. They're buying them. It has nothing to do with
No,
us.
I understand that, but it's
I don't
still,
care. I want
it's
them
still
one
a
at a time.
savings if you're gonna have a truck deliver 50 or deliver 100. You're gonna save some money.
My guess is they're going to buy it through their big mother company, and they're going to buy, thousands of them at a time. And they're going to get them a whole lot cheaper.
Say they're gonna buy them with all their other locations all at once in an annual, whatever.
Yep.
So
That's
you
all I
guys
have.
read through the minutes? Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
I so move.
And second,
Can't be me, because I didn't make the meeting.
oh, right, sorry. Me, I can second that. All in favor, you and I? Aye. Opposed?
Just thought I'd let you know I wasn't
I-
here.
You know, the anesthesia still has not stopped wearing off. It's only been 14 days. We still need to go into an executive session.
No, we don't.
Oh, then why didn't you tell me to take that off when I asked for an update of the agenda?
I kept that on in case you guys wanted to.
That was a
Okay,
leftover
then-
from last time.
And by the next time we have a meeting, my legs should not be quite so swollen, so I won't be so crabby. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That was quick. Thank you, guys.
Feel better.
If there's anything you guys want changed in the budget, just send it to me.
Yeah.
When you go home and look at it. If you have questions, email me.